Hi, I'm David Lund. I'm the Head of Research and Development at HW Communication. HW is a small R&D company based in the UK. I've spent around 18 years with the company, building up and working with an enviable team who are very effective at translating early research outcomes into practical use. Our core area of interest is to ensure that our human communications and technology we increasingly use are kept secure and resilient, and that services, information and exchange of information remain integral and trustworthy. We work on a number of commercial and publicly funded projects. These consist of both R&D and product development projects that all aim to solve a varied degree of societal challenges. Such challenges, for example, include the protection of critical infrastructure, for example, our electricity grids and meters. Risk management and the communication of risk factors are in particular key within such complex systems. We are also concerned about the protection of both our physical and online surroundings. Public safety services rely heavily on timely and trustworthy communications in order to save lives. And most importantly for this video, we as citizens are becoming more concerned about our online identity, privacy and who we can trust online. All of this requires that both staff and citizens essentially come first. After all, it's people who need to communicate. Until the last 5-10 years, we've seen that technology was quite raw and hard to use. It's the underlying technology that's been the focus of innovation and not necessarily how people can interact with it. Our core capability at HW essentially works at the level of binary ones and zeros, but that can only have an impact if society can benefit. Historically, we've worked on the application of information theoretic technologies, redundancy in technologies, cryptography, efficiency of communications, for example, essentially the mathematics that underpin communication technology. Around 6 years ago, we embarked on a project to try to provide technical solutions to solve the problem of managing online consent. Project Encore, which is an acronym for Ensuring Consent and Revocation, was a multidisciplinary team put together here in the UK, and we've spent these years trying to understand the legal, social and technical aspects of how managing online consent may be achieved. The outcome is what we call dynamic consent, which allows for we as individuals to know about how personal data has been used and stop its use when we find that our information has been used for reasons for which we don't like. We also need to support the fact that our information is in fact traded and shared, and that our consensual control must still be assured even though data may have moved from system to system or between enterprises. Through this and several other projects at HW, we are striving to develop new technologies to improve consumers' trust online. For me, it's the trust of both the technology and the presence of data online. Trust that those large online corporates and governments will use our information and assure that our expectations are met, both in terms of the delivery of our subscribed service, but also of those secondary uses of our information which we agree to, sometimes 2/3 of the way down the terms and conditions that we don't read. Whilst I could be accused of a techno-geek, I'm typically a late adopter. I have a social media accounts, although I've only recently started to use them. I have a Facebook account, but only for around the past 2 years, and it's been fantastic to catch up with old friends. I don't post every day, however. Again, I know too much about it, and as I learn more, I see further challenges to face, especially knowing about some of the analytical possibilities with text, image, audio and video content, and moreover, how this may be secondarily used commercially. The most crucial issue and challenge is the ever-evolving gap between what we know about a problem and the advent of a solution to it. In this case, how do we know what our personal data is actually being used for? Moreover, if I decide to unsubscribe from a service and ask for information to be deleted, how can I be assured that this has actually happened? Issues of assurance are certainly the most crucial for sustained trust in my eyes. Yes, I think there certainly are. There must be an app for it, right? There are many obvious social and economic benefits that the world is currently trying to understand from the mining of this enormous ocean of data. However, the business opportunity with regard to user empowerment should follow where there is an opportunity to improve online trust. So new opportunities could include, for example, new services to educate citizens on how their information is used and the value of their data to industry. There are opportunities for new technologies such as dynamic consent to allow for online control of shared information. Enterprises will need new tools to ensure that they are not inadvertently compromising privacy. I think it's unlikely that enterprises will rebuild their systems just to improve privacy, so new tools will have to work alongside existing systems. And there are a whole host of assurance processes and services that can oversee the provision of trust-enhancing and user empowerment services. Furthermore, the new European Data Protection Regulation is sure to change the landscape, bringing in more stringent obligations. However, the scale of economic activity to bring European enterprises into compliance with the regulation is a difficult one to gauge right now. The word consent, which is central to data protection, is most widely used within the healthcare setting. Users of social media typically don't use the term consent. However, there is a growing awareness that users of social networks do have the ability to make decisions about use of their information. This is evidenced by the way that privacy controls are now provided. However, these controls are only effective taking on a raw trust of the social network, so this increased protection is a trend to closely watch, especially when strong assurance eventually becomes available and users' privacy settings are fully enforced. Privacy advocates do like to pounce on any evidence that privacy settings are not honoured, so we should start to see trends emerging where tangible assurance can be provided to the citizen. However, technically this is difficult to achieve. I don't believe that the internet is secure enough yet to be able to provide such assurance. Our internet is constructed of many secure pipes that terminate in insecure endpoints. Compromise and exploitation of data can be easy in that respect. I believe that new applications of cryptography are likely to bring new possibilities to protect information of a finer grained form, allowing the citizen to continue to be custodian and giver of access, regardless of where the information is stored and by who. There are new emerging crypto techniques that should allow for technologies to assure that processing and sharing of personal information is kept in control and accountable. Finally, and to summarise, giving the citizen the assured control of their shared information and informing them of how personal information is used is sure to improve online trust and increase in online interactions. This should ultimately provide significant social and economic benefits for communities who choose to offer such services.